UFC 305 Du Plessis versus Adesanya was this past weekend, and Dricus Du Plessis defended his middleweight title by 4th round rear naked choke submission. In this video, we're going to recap the main card and we're going to talk about the main event, so stay tuned to hear my thoughts on UFC 305. I'm Wyatt, and this is Fight Society. Before we get into the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. Become a channel member if you want extra content. All of that really helps me out a lot. Thank you very much. Back to the video. Well, Dricus is that guy. Dricus is that guy. Dricus beat Israel Adesanya, was up 2 rounds to 1 on 2 of the 3 scorecards, and finished him in the 4th round. Dricus Du Plessis, there is no more controversy anymore. Dricus Du Plessis, undisputed middleweight champ. He was already, but now the Sean Strickland fans have to be quiet for a little while until their fight gets booked. Now, that's what happened in the main event. We'll come back around to that in a second. So first, we're going to start with the main card opener, Carlos Prates versus Li Jingliang, the Leech. This was at 170 pounds. Li Jingliang has been out for a long time. He had a back injury or a neck injury, something that kept him out for like over a year. Serious injury. He worked his way back, and he looked like he had been out for a long time. Got dropped in the first round more than once, dropped in the second, and then KO'd in the second. I really can't fault him too much for it, to be honest with you, because he fought Carlos Prates coming off of a long layoff. Carlos Prates is a pain in the ass for somebody that's active, ready to go, period. But someone like Li Jingliang, who has been out for a while, the different looks, the hard low kicks, the nasty, one of the best left hands we've seen in a minute, Carlos Prates' left cross. That's a huge task for anyone fighting Carlos Prates, but much more of a challenge for somebody like Li Jingliang, who has been out for well over a year, rehabbing a serious injury. So Carlos Prates, 2nd round KO. He calls out Chaos Williams. I like the idea of that fight. And listen, guys, Carlos Prates is nasty. This is 170 is about to be even crazier, because we have the prospects that are just now getting up to the top of the division: Shavkat, Ian Gary, Jack Della Maddalena, guys like that. And then right coming up already, we got Carlos Prates at 170, probably 1 or 2 wins from a ranked opponent. And we have Michael Morales this coming weekend, I think, against Neil Magny. So 170 is in good shape for the long run. I do have to say, 170 is going to be a shark tank for years to come. Imagine once we get Prates and Morales in the actual like title mix, you're going to have like 5 elite, well-rounded guys. Wow. 170 is about to be the best division in the sport, if it's not already. We move on from there. Jairzinho Rozenstruik absolutely outclasses, dominates Tuivasa on the feet. Just technical. He banged a little bit when he had to, but for the most part, technical, jab, low kick, did his thing in there. Tuivasa is terrible, guys. I hate to say it, but Tuivasa is not a world-class fighter. If he was anybody but Tuivasa in terms of fan favoritism, all of that, he would be cut right now. But he's not going to. He's Tuivasa. You can put him on a pay-per-view main card. He has a big name. Heavyweight, so they always like throwing heavyweight on big cards, stuff like that. So Tuivasa is terrible. He got absolutely picked apart. As you can see right here, as you can see right next to me, split decision. One of the judges actually had it 30-27. I think his name was Howie Booth. But 30-27 in favor of Tuivasa when the fight was very clearly 30-27 or 29-28 to Jairzinho Rozenstruik. So come back around tomorrow morning. I'm going to put out a fights to make video, and we'll talk about everybody that we're talking about in this video, who they should fight next. But yeah, Tuivasa is a mid fighter. He's got that like kind of Derek Lewis type of exposed and fan favorite type, but he got exposed much sooner, because don't forget, Derek Lewis fought DC for the belt. So we move on from there. Dan Hooker defeats Mateusz Gamrot by split decision. I thought Dan Hooker won 2 rounds to 1. Dan Hooker, all of a sudden, 3 wins in a row. Hunter Campbell's talking about Charles Oliveira matchups. Dan Hooker is a top 5 lightweight in 2024. Dan Hooker just got smoked by Arnold Allen about a year and a half ago. His only win, he went 1-4 after a 5-fight win streak or 4-fight win streak. And he got fucking dominated by some very mid opponents. Nasrat Hakparast gave Dan Hooker a hard fight. Dan Hooker decisively won, if I remember correctly, but a hard fight for Dan Hooker from Nasrat Haqparast. So, who just lost and won a robbery against Jared Gordon. So, Dan Hooker, top 5 lightweight in 2024. Crazy thing to say. He looked good, kept pushing forward, was able to get up, defend takedowns, but quickly not accept position and bounce right back up as soon as his butt hit the mat when he got taken down by those double legs from Gamrot. He popped right back up. He had Gamrot rocked more than once. I actually think Gamrot rocked him in the second round, dropped him to a knee. Amazing fight. Fight of the night. Gamrot, okay, listen, the UFC doesn't want Gamrot to fight for a title. He's not type of guy, personality or fighting style that they want in pay-per-view main events. It just is what it is. Even though he lost, he did just put on a fight of the night. It takes 2 to tango. He went in there and tangoed with Dan Hooker, who's down to take some brain damage, okay? So Gamrot actually, even with a loss, in my opinion, raised his stock in the eyes of the UFC. I have an interesting idea for his next fight, because he's going to have to fight down in the rankings. So I have a very good idea for his next fight. Come watch just tomorrow morning. I'm coming back with a fights to make after UFC 305 video. Dan Hooker, Mateusz Gamrot, fight of the night. Dan Hooker is that guy, I guess. And tatted blonde Dan Hooker. Next up from there, we have a very tough pill to swallow for us Urcels that are big supporters of Steve Erceg. First round, TKO loss to Kai Kara France in the co-main event. And I gotta be honest, they both looked good. Technical matchup. Steve Erceg did not make adjustments. Kai Kara France repeatedly was going for that left hook, that like diving, lunging left hook. And he caught Erceg on the chin on like the 5th try. He just kept trying. Erceg wasn't on his P's and his Q's. He didn't make an adjustment. He got dropped with the left hook. TKO'd. It is what it is. Come back next time. Steve Erceg is a dog, dude. He's already fought for a belt. He's young. He's new in the UFC. These type of experiences are going to do him really, really well. And he's big for flyweight. Maybe he's a little chinny there. He looked huge compared to Kai Kara France. Maybe bantamweight's in his future. Just a thought, just a thought. I'm not out here saying Steve Erceg to 135. We move on from there to the main event of UFC 305, Dricus Du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. Battle for Africa, the battle for the real African champ. You guys, we heard the storylines, okay? Dricus proved himself to be that guy at middleweight. He fights like a drunk uncle. Dricus fights like a drunk uncle. He looks like he's not thinking at times in there. It's so all over the place. And he beat the second best middleweight of all time. Finished him. And was up 2-1 on 2 of the scorecards. Dricus is him. And I picked against him. I wanted Dricus to win, but I had a gut feeling Izzy was going to just completely style on him, and that's not what happened. Izzy did look good. I thought it was 2-1 either way going into the 4th. And Izzy, I think, thought that he was up and was looking to maybe steal around. And then he just kind of slipped off the gas a little bit. Dricus went forward. Izzy wasn't on his P's and his Q's, got clipped on the chin, was wobbled. Even if he said he wasn't hurt, wobbled, drop. Dricus took the back so incredibly fast. Hooks in, choke, went for the rear naked. Izzy defended. He switched to the S grip, or the short choke, some people call it, but switched to the S grip. And finished, or it was a gable grip short choke. And and Izzy tapped. The first time Izzy has ever lost back-to-back fights in MMA. First time he's ever been submitted in MMA. Weird, man, because I've had a lot of negative things to say about Izzy, but now that he's lost, he's probably never going to be UFC champion again. I'm actually kind of bummed. And I've said so many negative things about the guy, I'll be honest. So I'm not going to apologize. I'm for sure not going to apologize, but I just a note. I was like, dang, Izzy, Izzy this, Izzy that. And then he lost. And I was like, dang, this is kind of sad. This is the end of an era. Second best middleweight of all time behind Anderson Silva. Dricus Du Plessis, however, is that guy. He's probably, he's for sure fighting Sean Strickland next. Dana White said that's next. Just basically a debate as to whether or not it's going to be in Vegas or if it's going to be in South Africa, because Dricus has been pushing for a South Africa event. Dricus it's weird. He's like an advanced beginner, kind of. Like, for those of you that train, when you go with a beginner, sometimes it's weird to figure them out because they're so spazzy and there's no rhythm to them. That's kind of how Dricus is. Like, 1 minute, he's like looking like knock-kneed, and he shells up, backs up to the fence, and eats like 2 or 3 really big body shots from Izzy. And then less than a minute later, he's like, as Lucas Tracy, RIP Lucas Tracy's channel, as Lucas Tracy would say, Captain Underpantsing, like swimming. He's doing like swim strokes, throwing punches while running forward. And it works. It's weird. I've been so wrong about Dricus for his entire career. I think I've picked against him in every single fight except the Strickland fight. Guys, this is my reaction and recap to UFC 305. I just wanted to say also before I sign off, it was my birthday weekend this past weekend. I know I haven't been streaming as often. Needed a little bit of a reset during my birthday week, and still consistent with the videos, just not streaming, but I appreciate it. I saw you guys in my comments saying happy birthday, asking me to stream, but I just needed a day. I need a few days to recuperate, but we're back streaming tomorrow night. So thank you guys for tuning in. This has been my reaction to UFC 305. Let me hear your thoughts down below. Thanks. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. It really helps me out a lot. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, then become a channel member today for access to members only live streams, vlogs, and some other members perks. So click the link in the description down below or the join button on our channel homepage to become a member today. If you're interested in some non-MMA content from me, go check out my personal channel, Wyatt's World, and go check out my weekly comedy podcast, What's Up Bro, with Wyatt and Bo. Both of those are linked in the description down below. Go watch this suggested video, and we'll see you next time.